started and all of a sudden sparks were flying all over the place. Then I tried a hacksaw, and the hacksaw I had was like totally dull, and it just like skid all over the place. So I went to Home Depot, I got a brand new hacksaw blade, and I was able to cut it in like a minute. It cut right through it.
Does it have a cap that goes on the end?
Yeah, and then the,
Another trick, you use plumbers, pipe cutter.
oh, okay.
Goes perfectly round.
I didn't have any problem with that. The problem that I had was this, this company, I got the dry sink and the railings from a place called Kegworks. So I ordered a sink that we'll see a picture of that. Okay, there's another view of it. Looks much better over here. I didn't care, I didn't do the shelves. I gave them a price on doing a nice crown molding shelf out of Sapele, but they didn't want to go for that. Yeah, but in looking at this was like really a rough pine that was just stained. It wasn't finished or anything, and these bar stools are pine. So I guess they wanted to go for a rustic look, but it's certainly, it's like night and day compared to the bar that I made.
The decorators.
Yeah. So now this is a look from the bartender's side. You can see the dry sink. Oh, I was talking about the dry sink. So I get the dry sink and I measure it out and I cut the hole and I drop the dry sink in, and it was bowed. Like it was low in the corners, and so it didn't go down flush. So I called the guy up and I says, you know, he sent me the sink and it's terrible. So he said, well, we'll send you another one. No questions asked. He said, we'll send you another one. So I said, but you know, before you send it, look at it and make sure that it's flat. So a couple of days later, the thing comes in and it was as bad as the first one. So I called the guy up and I says, you know, what's with you guys? It wasn't, it was the more expensive one that when I looked around. This was like $40 for this sink. So the guy says, well, just keep it and I'll give you your money back.
You had two?
Yes, I had two, so I have one that...
So how'd you get it to sit on the bar?
Well, then I had two of them, so I figured, what the heck? Let me see if I could bend them so that I could get it to go straight, and it worked out that I was able to bend it and get it straight. Also, when I cut the hole, there was a thing of plywood showing there, so I made a nice little veneer to put inside the hole, so when they take the sink out, they don't see the plywood. Over here was where my wine rack was supposed to go, but when they saw the wine rack, they thought that it was so beautiful that they couldn't hide it in there, so they wound up putting a refrigerator in there.
So where's the wine rack?
The wine rack is sitting in the room, so it can be seen. This is another view where you see the end panel. It really came together nice. Another view from the other side. There's the wine rack. It's a 10-bottle wine rack. I made that also while I was convalescing. Okay, also, I had some nice figured Sapele, so I don't know if they appreciate it or not, but I veneered the drawer front with a figured Sapele, and I can't do hand-cut dovetails, so this is done under the lead jig. But I was very happy that I nailed it. I mean, there's no little gap in there or anything. Really went well. Oh, and now in order to get the top attached to the rest of the bar, I put in maybe 1 by 1.5 strips all around the top of the plywood panels. And that was screwed and glued. I countersunk all of the screws and put plugs in so you didn't see any of those screws. And then once I got the top where I wanted it, I just screwed up from the bottom to hold it. Here's another view. They accessorized it very nice. I thought they did a nice job in adding the accessories. And now we're back to square one. Of course, we opened up 2 bottles of wine to, yeah. And a little side joke, they said that, you know, come over for a pour and we'll christen the wine. And it turned out that it was a Jewish family, so I says, well, why don't we have a bar mitzvah? But,
How did you apply the, how did you apply the shellac?
the shellac with a brush,
You brushed it?
yeah.
Did it build up though?
Yeah,
It did.
yeah. I really wasn't concerned about the buildup.
Buildup, right.
You know, I put it on rather thin.
Mhm.
I just wanted the color, and
Right.
and then I rubbed it out. Actually, I rubbed it out with that wool lube, so
Right.
it's smooth as glass.
Yeah.
And then I cleaned that up, and then spray polyurethane. A couple of people offered to help me out with that, but the logistics, I mean, it was the winter, it was cold, the spraying out in the garage, just a lot of issues. So I was able to get a nice finish on it. I was very happy with it, and I know the lady that I did it for said to me that her husband said that this was the nicest thing that they've ever had in their house. So, and they had a big house with a lot of things in there. I mean, there was a lot of competition.
Tell me,
Yeah,
you ready for the next commission?
yeah, well, I lost it. They didn't give me the shelf. Excuse me?
Have you used the Zinsser sealer shellac? I forget exactly what they call it.
I didn't, no,
Seal coat.
no, I didn't use a seal coat. It was just regular shellac.
So he's mixing it up.
Is there much of a difference between that and the thin shellac?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't know if it's de-waxed.
It is.
The seal coat is, so if you're buying Zinsser and it says shellac, it's not de-waxed. But if you buy the seal coat, that is de-waxed. But it's only amber, you can't buy garnet or
Right.
super blonde
Yeah.
or button black, any of those other colors.
And I don't know where that sample is floating around, but I showed them that as a sample as to what it would look like, and they approved it. So, you know, I was pretty confident that there wouldn't be any issue with the color. I mean, and that the room had windows all around it, and when it went in there, I mean, that ribbon sapele just, I mean, just like, wow, you know, really,
What this cost, no cost us probably.
I'm sorry, my cost?
No.
What I charged them? $5,500,
And what did it cost, the materials?
about $1,500.
Okay.
Very good.
Do you think you made a good rate? Every time I've
Well-
done a project, I don't make for about $5 an hour.
It's hard for me to say, because I only, like, I work 2 hours and then I can't do any more, I come upstairs. But my wife and I had a big debate about that. She said I should have charged $6,500. I always, you know, it's hard, when it comes to pricing, what's the number that's gonna break the back? You know, that's not gonna get you the job. And I felt that $4,000 profit being retired, and it's just like a little extra money in my pocket.
Yeah.
I need something to do,
Kept you
I'm the type
busy.
of person. Huh?
Kept you busy.
Yeah, that's what I said, I need something to do, otherwise I just walk around the house with nothing to do.
Yeah, but you get to the point where you say, Christ, for what I'm getting for this project, and I still got more work to do.
I never felt that because I love the challenge. I mean, this was a challenge, you know, it isn't something that I do every day. It isn't, you know, monotonous that, oh gee, I gotta go to the, you know, to the salt mines.
It keeps your wife out of your hair.
Yeah, kept my wife out of my hair and, yeah, had a little,
It's a good chunk of change, $4,000.
yeah, it was a good chunk of change. And, from what Michelle, she said her husband has 4,000 followers on Instagram, and he was telling everybody about the bar, you know, so there's a possibility that I might, you know, get additional work from it, not that I'm counting on it, but,
Then the price goes up.
Excuse me?
But then the price goes up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the prototype.
Well, they were a friend of the family.
And I know what I'm doing now. So that's,
Did you have a picture of the wine rack?
yeah, yeah, I did.
Could you just
Yeah.
jump through real
This is
quick
in the
and take a
corner.
look at that?
This in the corner of the room.
The wine rack, you know, you have to do that crisscross there. So I used a wider board, cut all of the dados, and then slice it. So this way that everything lines up perfectly. There it is. It's a 10 bottle wine rack. It's just 3/4 inch plywood. I cut a 45 to make the joints, and I put a spline in it. And then I just put a solid piece across the front, so you didn't see the plywood. And,
You splined the entire width of the board or just this
yeah,
hits?
yeah, the whole
Wow.
thing. My wife says I always overbuild. But,
You know, you can't just build for a fool, you gotta build for a damn fool.
yeah. And it was pretty nice for them to say that they thought it was so nice that they couldn't hide it behind the bar. You know, they wanted it out front. And as I said, we broke open 2 bottles of wine to christen the bar. And
I carried you home.
well, it was right around the corner, so I could have walked.
I mean, how long did it take you start to finish, minus the hernia surgery?
Well, I think I got a deposit in the end of December, and I delivered it the end of April. And take out, well, I don't know if I could say 6 weeks, you know. The first week I couldn't do anything. My wife wouldn't let me go near the basement. And actually I was, you know, a little sore. But then I did a lot of the shellacking, so, you know, I cheated a little and lifted up a piece and flipped it over, but, you know, I made sure it was under 15 pounds. That was an experience, the robotic surgery, where they put 2 little slits here and 1 slit here, and they blow you up, and
That's crazy.
mine worked out okay. I'm here to tell you about it.
You're lucky, I had robotic surgery last year. My wife didn't let me go in the basement for 6 weeks. Yeah.
6 weeks, yeah.
Well, because the doctor said, don't lift more than 10 pounds for 6 weeks. She's like, you're not mowing the lawn, you're not, she's like, here's the couch, go sit in your butt down.
Yeah, see, my doctor gave me 15 pounds. Because he said, don't lift anything heavy. So I says, what's heavy?
Does that include the
Crazy.
garbage?
And by the way, this is not a drill.
They got the carpet for 6 weeks.
This is not a drill.
That's helpful.
Thank you, Matt.
We appreciate that. And guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna